Hey guys, how you doing? It's Andy Elliott. I am jacked to get you guys onto the payment close. Listen, I've done this a long time ago, so if you've watched some of the old videos back in 2015, you will see the payment close. What's really important right now is that you pick up the word tracks and that you pick up the way that I do this. So check this out. So if you were going to build a company and you wanted to build a website, would you want to start with a brand new website, like I'm talking like a blank screen, and then you start building the border and doing all this and then putting the words where they need to be and then doing the layout? Or would you rather have someone already build an entire website that looks great and then you just fill the blanks in with your business? That's what I'm doing, okay? So whenever a salesman starts negotiating after a customer says, hey, I think the payment's too high or the payment's too high, what happens is they're all over the place. Okay? You've got points you want to make, and some of you make great points, but unfortunately you never close anything. Okay? So if you can't close a deal, what matters? There's 4 types of salesmen. There's order takers and tour guides. There's salespeople. There's closers. And then there's master closers. And I'll tell you this. There's some salesmen out there right now that can work their own deals. We know who the order takers and tour guides are. All right, they're passing out business cards on the lot, not getting TOs. When you move into the salesman perspective, you can write up your own deals. You just can't close them yet. You know what I'm saying? Your management's constantly coming in and closing. And then we've got closers. Now you got to be real careful about the word closer. You got closers going around saying, hey, I closed that deal. Yeah. Well, listen, did you negotiate down when you closed it? Because if you negotiated down when you closed it, sure, you closed it. I'll give you you're in the closer category, but you're not closing for all the money. And then you got master closers. Master closers, they've got the blueprint. They know where they're going. They know how they're going to get there. They're prepared for the objections. They're aware that they're coming, and they're not even worried about it, okay? They know the end result is they've got a format they're going to follow, and then they're going to close it. And I'll tell you this, 7 out of 10 will close on this payment close if you'll do it right and if you can get the word tracks down. So I'm going to go through this with you and I will show you how to be a master closer on the payment. Now, it's your job to find where the money's at in other areas that where people aren't really focusing on. Salesman's job is to give reasons and excuses why they should pay the payment. It's not the customer's job. If you think your customers are going to sit there and say, yeah, I think I should pay extra for this. Listen, there's building value, okay? Now I'm guessing 90% of the time we're on the lot, right? Building value, right? When people want more than they want, the money that they have in their pocket, they spend it. But when they get inside, vehicles have gotten so expensive. 2005, a Chevy Impala, 15 grand. Brand new, payments $250 a month. That guy comes on the market in 2015, 2020, that car is $32,000 to $35,000 for a brand new car. Well, check this out. Do you think $250 payments are going to buy a new car anymore? No, they're $500 and $600. So as the adjustment in the vehicle cost has gone up, people aren't really making a lot more money. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Cell phone salesmen, those guys get paid $1,800 a month. And do you know what? Those guys are sitting there selling phones for $1,000. Cell phone per month, customers are paying $250, and you got customers coming in saying they want to pay $250 a month for a car. Are you kidding me? A car's more important than a house. I'll tell you why. You have to get to work to have it, right? Everybody has to have a car, I don't care who you are. We sell something that 100% of the people have to have. You want to go to work to pay for the house? You got to have a car. Somebody gets sick, you got to have a car. You can have a house, but you don't have a car, you can't leave it. I'm telling you, cars are very important. And I say that saying, okay, maybe a house and a car are the same, but bottom line is everybody's in the market for a car. When they come in, it's the salesman's job to give them reasons and excuses how they can afford it. And I'm going to do it right here, okay? Now there's a mind shift and there's a mindset change that you're going to have within your customers. Your customers are coming in. They're looking at their payment that they're paying now, and maybe they plan to go up $50, $100. But they're comparing it to the payment that the new car is going to cost, or the pre-owned car, or the big lifted truck, whatever it is. And they're comparing that payment to that payment. And what your job is to shift the mindset and show them that, no, it's not that. You see, you pay for that car, but also you pay for money in other areas. And if you look at the car that we have and the money that you're not paying for in other areas, we need to look at the total ownership payments on both cars. It's your job as a salesman to shift the mindset and say, I understand, let me show you how affordable your new vehicle is, and boom. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, I hope this helps you. You can do it your own way, but if you add this to your skill set, I promise you, you'll be unstoppable. 7 out of 10 I can close on this, okay? So let me show it to you, and I'm gonna go through it not too fast, but nice and slow so you can pick up the word tracks as I do it, okay? So, let's say, and I'll go 2 different ways. I'm gonna use one with gas and with warranty, and then I'm gonna use one just with the warranty so you can see it, okay? Now watch this. Let's say a customer comes in and they have a 2000, let's say it's an 11 Chevy truck. Let's say it's got 113,000 miles on it, right? That sounds about right. And they're coming in to buy a 2018 Chevy truck. It's got 18,000 miles. Now I'm going to tell you this. When you're looking at this truck to this truck, is gas savings going to be there? More than likely not. But I'll tell you, if this truck gets 18 miles a gallon and this truck gets 22, well, if they spend $60 a week in gas here and they spend $50 here, well, $10 times 4, that's a $40 bump, okay? So let's not forget about that, but let's just say truck to truck. Let's say both of them have the same gas mileage. This guy's paying $400 a month on this truck, right? He comes in and he wants to keep the same payment on the 2018 Chevy with 18,000 miles. That sounds about right. How many people come in and say, hey, I want to keep the same payment? I hear it all the time. So, the manager puts out a proposal of $600 a month and says, hey, go close your customer. Now, I'll show you this. When you look at the 18 model and you look at the 11, the one thing that you notice, this has got 131,000 miles. It's definitely out of warranty. This has got 18,000 miles. It's definitely got a full factory warranty on it. So, as you started out, hey, Mr. Customer, there's your payment. Sign here. And I apologize, I forgot to ask you, when would you like to set your first payment due? Towards the beginning of the month, the middle of the month? What's going to work best for you and your family? You hit him with your best presenting the pencil. He says, Andy, there's no way I can afford that payment. I say, no problem. Let me show you how affordable your new vehicle is. I flip the paper over. Once I flip it over, this is the back side of my piece of paper, all right? I'm flipping it over. I'll say, okay, Mr. Customer, now your old vehicle right now, you're currently paying $400 a month, right? Okay, and now you don't have a warranty, is that correct? Now look, since you don't have a warranty, I'm going to look at anything that breaks you would have to pay for out of your pocket, correct? Well, the national average to maintain a truck, a four-wheel drive Z71, an 11 model that's almost 10 years old, is roughly about $2,400 a year. Now, I want to explain this to you. If you don't have a warranty and you take that timeline of that year, right? Customer goes and they drive till February, and in February they end up spending $1,200 on a heater core, fixing it, put it in the service station. Guys, it's $110 an hour in labor now, plus parts. You fix it, you spend $1,200, you get your truck running nice, you drive it for 10 months, you spend zero money on it, and then all of a sudden in November, the heater core goes out, costs you $1,200. Bottom line is, that's an example, but $1,200 is $2,400 for the year. Well, if you take that $2,400 by the year and you're paying $400 a month in a payment, I'm going to basically take it, I'm going to divide that by 12 months in a year. Since you spent the $2,400 out of pocket divided by 12 months, that roughly shows me $200 a month in a small maintenance payment is how much you're going to have to budget, how much you have been budgeting for your old vehicle just for the fact that it doesn't have a warranty on it. And that's the truth. So if you take the $400 and the $200 because he doesn't have a warranty, the customer is currently paying $600 a month just because he's spending money out of pocket. Now look, that $2,400, maybe it's not $1,200 and $1,200. Maybe it's $400 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's $600. Maybe it breaks down in $100 increments. But I'm going to tell you, 1 hour in the service station, $110, $120 plus parts. So if we take our new vehicle over here at $600 a month, it's an 18 model. It has 18,000 miles. And guess what? It has a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty on it. If you're driving down the road, and let's say the AC goes out, I don't care if it costs $3,000, how much does it cost you? It costs nothing. If the windows and locks go out, how much does it cost you? It costs nothing. So you see, you're paying the payment, but there's no ownership payment. The payment never changes. And Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I didn't even make this example over here, but if this is a machine with 113,000 miles. If the engine was to go out on this machine, how much do you think a new engine would cost? $4 grand, $5 grand? Well, I'm going to tell you, take that and divide it by 12 months in a year. That's a $350, $400 payment. And even if you had to spend the $4 or $5 grand on it, putting the engine in it, would this truck, your 113,000 mile truck, become worth more money, or would you find yourself just wasting your money? You see, I didn't even ask whether you had the cash to pay for it or you'd have to go borrow the money to fix it. That doesn't matter. The deal is with that machine and not having a warranty, that's a dangerous situation. Over here, you have a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty on an 18 model Chevy with 18,000 miles. That means if you're driving down the road, it's a machine just like this one is over here. If the motor went out, I don't care if the engine cost $10,000 to fix. How much would it cost you? 0. So the payment never changes. So 600 plus 0 is 600. And I'll tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, at the end of the day, let's act like you didn't own a car at all. You have none. And you came in here today, and you came in here and said, hey, Andy, show me a couple trucks that I may really love and some payments that I could afford. Kind of go over what you got. I got a 2011 Chevy, 113,000 miles. Payment's $400 a month, but you're probably going to have about $200 a month in a maintenance payment. So you're really going to be spending about $600 out of the pocket at the end of each month just because you're going to have to upkeep it since it doesn't have a warranty. Or I've got a 2018 with 18,000 miles. Guess what? It's got a full warranty, but if anything breaks, you've got an 18 model in your driveway that you love and not an old 11, and the payment's $600 a month and it never changes no matter what. And by the way, over here, if something was to break like an engine or something, this number is going to keep going up, that ownership cost per month. So when you look at it, this is how you break down a full warranty on engine, transmission, bumper to bumper, and you kind of display it into small stuff. Now when I'm selling, I'll definitely pick up my energy. I'll lower my voice sometimes. I'm going nice and slow through this so you can see how to do it. Back in 15, I went so fast, I feel like some people didn't pick up the word tracks. That's why I'm going through this with you nice and slow. And I'm not pitching it to you like I'd pitch a customer. I'm going through it nice and slow where you see at the end, I even on this one said, hey, if you didn't own anything at the end of the day, would you want to own this one or this one if they were the same money? Well, obviously they'd pick the 18. Or I could tie that close in differently at the end and I could say, hey, listen, on that 2011 that you're paying $400 a month on, now that you see the ownership cost on it and that you do have to pay the money out of pocket, when you look at it at the end of the day, it's the exact same money as what the new car is going to cost. You're paying the money either way. You see, you work hard for your money, right? And you put your money in the bank. And when the money leaves the bank, between the warranty and the payment, it's the same money spent. So at the end of the day, you're affording what you said you couldn't afford already. So doesn't it make complete sense to trade at super affordable at $600 a month? Yes. When would you like your first payment due? Towards the first of the month, the middle of the month? And then I'll go for a close because I'm going to tell you this right now. Warranties are very expensive. If you go to Google, Google's our mother. You go to Google and you type in 2011 Chevy truck, average cost per year to maintain, let's just say, it's going to tell you warranty companies right now, they're between $2,000 and $3,000. I use an easy number, $2,400. Cars, they're a little bit cheaper. So with that being said, $2,400, it's an easy, divided by 12 months, it's $200 a month. It's a real simple close. And remember, once you're done showing them that you're at the same number or that you're as close as you can get, you always tie back in and go for the close, okay? But this is on the back side of the sheet of paper. That's the way that you always want to negotiate. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this away for a second. And I'm going to make that disappear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a vehicle, whatever it is. Let's say guy's got a 2012, let's say Hyundai Santa Fe. It's an SUV, right? Guy's paying $250 a month, okay? And he comes in, and I don't know where you work at or what you have, but let's say you're a Hyundai store, and the guy comes in and he's buying a Hyundai Elantra. Okay, let's say the guy's gonna do some commuting. He's gonna be doing some road trips, right? So he doesn't need a big SUV. He's gonna downsize, be ready to start driving further distances. The guy's paying $250 now. The guy says he can go up to $300, okay? And your payment on your new vehicle is going to be what? $399. Now let's just say this is a simple $100 bump. But instead of you going into this saying, hey, could you pay up to, no more than, meet me in the middle, reward yourself, your wife's worth it. We say all these things that everyone else across the street at these other dealerships are saying that really don't mean anything and that devalue us as salesmen because it shows that we don't even know how to deal with money. What I would tell you is the money's already there. And look, these situations can change in all places. If you're one of these people that's like, well, when does that trade happen? That trade happens every day. But the goal is to adjust your mind to start looking for three things. One, right here, how much they can pay more in budget. Okay? Now listen, not what the payment is now, okay? How much they can pay more in budget. That means if a guy's paying $250 now and he says he can go to $300, how much more in budget can he pay? $50. Two, take this, gas. 3, warranty. Now I want to tell you, if you ever have gas savings, you definitely want to use the gas savings first. The reason why is because people are really sliding debit cards in and out constantly of the gas pumps, okay? They're doing it every single day. So they are spending money. So when you make an example of gas savings, that is something that's happening right now in their life. So it's real, it's live time. Now, you could have a guy trading in a 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe with 120,000 miles, and let's say he's been driving it for 2 years, right? And literally he hasn't had any problems. Well, guess what? That says one thing, that first of all, if you've been driving a car for 2 years and you haven't fixed anything, get ready for this year, okay? That's a good point to make. Or two, maybe they have been spending some money, but who knows how much. So you're going to make your example, right? And you have to sell an intangible, which is basically the ownership cost of what it costs not to have a warranty on your vehicle. You have to sell that with your emotion, your body, your hands. You have to draw the timeline of a year. Earlier in the sale process, when you were talking to them about their vehicle, when they were trading it in, you say, hey, listen, my manager loves trade-ins. Like, he loves trade-ins, okay? So I actually like to tell him all the things that you've done to your vehicle before he appraises it, because he loves cars that have been really serviced well. Can you tell me all the things that you've done to it? And they'll tell you, yeah, we put an air conditioner in it. We did this. Okay, awesome. And how much did the air conditioner cost? About $700. Okay, when did you do it? And then, okay, we just put a windshield in. I got hit in the back bumper. I replaced that. That was $200. You know what I mean? Like, they'll just tell you some stuff, and you can take that stuff and to remember what you hear, so when it comes to negotiations, you can use those things. I always ask the questions early on, right before the appraisal stage. My manager loves and he gives top dollar for trade-ins that have been serviced the best. Tell me all the things you've done to your vehicle. Guys, they'll tell it to you. And then you can use that in your maintenance stage here, talking about how vehicles cost money, and they just told you they did, so you're right in line with it, okay? But the fact is, vehicles cost money. This is a 2012. People upgrade every day. If they don't have a warranty, they're going to spend money when they break. These are machines. It's that simple. You can argue it. Come work in the dealership service department. You'll see every single day what happens. So I'm going to start negotiating here real quick, right? I've got a $399 payment. And watch this. My first thing I'm going to do is find out how much more in budget. 2, I'm going to find out how much I can save in gas. 3, I'm going to do the warranty. And 4, I'm just going to close the deal. It's going to be that simple. But I'm never going to ask them, guys, don't you see the value in paying another $100? The value is already there when I make my presentation, okay? So, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, $399, sign here, I'll get your new car cleaned up. Hey, there's no way I can afford $399, Andy. I'm at $300, that's it. Awesome. So you can afford $300, and you're currently paying $250 now, is that correct? Yes. Awesome. So it shows me you comfortably can afford about $50 more for your new car. I'm going to flip the paper over, right? And at the top of my paper, I always write 50 more. Just to let you know I was listening to you. I'm going to write the 50 more you said you could afford for your new vehicle. Okay, here's your old car. Here's your new one. It's this simple. On your old vehicle, you're currently paying $250 now. And I always write down the new payment, but I never say it, right? Your words are either advancing you forward or they're taking you backward. So I never say it. So On your old vehicle over here, roughly on your 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe, right, SUV with 120,000, how much money do you roughly spend a week in gas? I spend $40 a week in gas. Okay, so 40 a week in gas, and then you'd agree there's about 4 weeks in a month, right? I take the 4 weeks in a month, and it shows me roughly $160 a month is how much you're spending in gas on your old vehicle. Now I'm taking the $250 payment that you pay to the bank each month, and it shows me between gas and payment, you're roughly spending $410 a month to own your old car. Now I stop right there, and I say, so Mr. and Mrs. Customer, even if you don't buy my new car today, wouldn't you agree $410 a month is how much it's costing you to own, total budget, total ownership cost for your old 2012 Chevy or Hyundai Santa Fe? Yes. Okay, so you work hard for your money, right? And you put your money in the bank. And when the money leaves the bank, between the gas and the payment, it's $410. And I'm breaking this down to you so you can see and make sure that your customer understands. There's a mind shift here now where the customer goes from focusing on monthly payments to ownership payments. Now in your new vehicle here, obviously better gas mileage, less money spent. Going to a Hyundai Elantra from a Santa Fe, I mean these get, 38 miles to the gallon. This gets 20, so you're gonna cut your gas mileage in half. I'm gonna take the 40 you spend now, and we know your new car is gonna get 20 a week in gas. And you'd agree that there's 4 weeks in a month, just like we did over here. That shows me $80 a month is how much you're gonna be spending in gas on your new vehicle. Now I'm gonna bring down the payment of $399. And that shows me $479 a month is how much it's gonna cost to own your brand new 2019 Hyundai Elantra. So if I take that $479 and I take the $410, the ownership cost difference between the brand new vehicle and what you're paying now is only $69. And Mr. and Mrs. Customer, when you came in today, you told me you could comfortably afford about 50 more for a new vehicle. So if I take the 50 more you said you could afford, guys, it looks like it's only $19 in difference from what you were prepared to pay. But it's not even that. You know why? Because on your Santa Fe with 120,000 miles, you have no warranty. Now remember I said on smaller vehicles, on smaller SUVs and stuff, the national average to maintain one of those is $1,200. It's a simple number to use. I can say the national average to maintain 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe, $1,200. And it's actually a little higher on that, but let's use $1,200. And that means, and I do the timeline of the year, I talk about they spend $600 in February, they go 10 months, everything's perfect. And then in November, they spend another $600 on like a fuel pump, heater core, something like that. Well, since that $1,200 was spent with no warranty, they had to pay it out of pocket, and we're talking about budget, I'm going to divide that by 12 months in a year, and that shows me roughly that they're going to have to be budgeting for $100 a month in a small maintenance payment. And if I compare that $100 to the 19 more that it looks like the new vehicle is, as long as I can show them a zero ownership cost on this new vehicle with a 5-year 60,000 on the bumper to bumper, right? And a 10-year 100 on the powertrain, I don't care if the motor went out and it cost $10,000, how much it would cost them? Nothing. I don't care if it costs $6,000 to replace the AC, how much does it cost them? Nothing. Anything that breaks, it's paid for. So when I look at the maintenance costs you're gonna have to be budgeting for, and I compare it to the $19 that looked like this new vehicle was, I'm actually doing what? Saving you $81. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, doesn't it make complete sense to trade in at super affordable? Yes. And I'm gonna tell you, if you guys watch the news right now, and you watch the wars going on and how all that oil got bombed in Saudi Arabia, I'm gonna tell you this, gas is going up, guys. So guess what? When gas goes to $5 a gallon, your new car is going to get paid back at the pump, or your old car would continually cost you more. And if something, heaven forbid, ever broke on their vehicle that you have now, right, it's not going to cost you anything on this brand new car, where your old car would cost you a lot of money out of your pocket. So take your wife out to dinner with all these savings that you're going to be getting, enjoy your brand new vehicle, and sign right here, and let me get your new car cleaned up. And that's it. And then you close them. It's that simple. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that I didn't do. If I built value in this car and I sold it, maybe I could be like a lot of salesmen, and I see them miss their closes all the time. Anybody who's a master closer, who's a great closer in a seated position, they always have everything written. They always write. People that don't write, their points don't get met. Remember this. If you're just going to make points, this is a lot of you. You're like, well, I'd just say that and I'd close them $100 easy. No, you won't. I see your paychecks. I see it happen all the time. You guys give up money all the time that you don't have to give up. Stop it, okay? This right here, it's real simple. Sure, they're going to save the money. But do you know what? I see so many of you guys say, guys, look, if you look at going to this and going to that, it's going to save you on gas, right? So isn't that worth the difference? And then when you say no, and the point was taken, but it doesn't close the deal, what are you going to say next? You're going to keep speaking over and over and over? You shortcutted, and that's why you didn't close the customer. When I close customers this way, when the guys that I train close customers this way, they're bumping customers $150, $200, $250 a month all day long. They close 7 out of 10. The national average closing ratio is 30% for average salespeople. If you're average, you stick with those numbers. You think you can close 60 to 70%? I see it happening all the time with guys that are master closers. So learn this. Learn the format. Learn the word tracks. And when someone says the payment's too high, don't get worried. It's okay, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. I want you to know how affordable your new vehicle is. How close can you come to this? Boom. Number 1, you go right here. How much they can spend more in budget than what they're paying now? Write that at the top. Take that number. Notice how I used it there. 2, find the gas savings. Do a nice little format like this. Always do the old trade before you do the new one. Don't zigzag back and forth. Okay? And then 3, do the warranty. And like I said, when I sell, guys, when I'm knee to knee with the customer and I'm closing a car deal, the way that I present this, my ability to really communicate with the customer, to say the words at the right time, to work with them, make sure that my worksheet's pointed towards them where they can see the numbers that I'm writing. I write out nice and neat. I write out clean. I'm always laughing and having a good time. When I closed the deal, I gave them reasons and excuses why they should afford the vehicle, how they can afford the vehicle, and then they buy it. I didn't make up any bull crap like the competition across the street that's asleep at the wheel that does a horrible job. Your grosses will increase tenfold. Your paychecks will be huge, and your customers will love you because you'll stop begging them to pay more and quit saying words that are stupid like, this car's only $100 more. Was that car $100 more than what they're paying now? Was it $100 more? No, it wasn't $100 more. You know why? They were already paying that money in other areas that they didn't see. So if we did negotiate the payment to the payment, you would have lost. But because we broke it into an ownership cost, wrote it down, and walked them through the process, you closed it, and the customer, they feel great about it, and they love it, and they see true value in you. So guess what? Guys, that's the payment close. I've gone over the price is too high. This is the payments too high. I'm going to be sending you guys, I want more for my trade, and I need to think about it. And you get these knocked down, you will know the 4 basic closes that most salesmen don't know in dealerships. Try them on in your store. You walk up to any salesman in your store right now. You write down this Santa Fe, you write down that Elantra, you write down any cars, just make them up. Hand it to them. Number 1, when they're done closing, there's nothing written on the piece of paper but a bunch of chicken scratch. Number 2, their word tracks are weak. Number 3, they make points, but they don't close anything. You don't want to be like that. Test the people out in your store, you'll see. I hope this is really valuable to you. If you guys have a bunch of payment closes that you use right now, add these to them. Guys, listen, there's a million ways to talk about payments. I mean, if you think about it, if a customer says to you and you're working a car deal, I'm just making a point, they're paying $300 a month and they want to keep the same payment, right? And your payment's $400 a month. If they say, well, you know that they have $5,000 in negative equity going into the deal, you can always take that $5,000 and say, listen, Mr. and Mr. Customer, I'd love to give you $300 a month. But bottom line is that $5,000 of negative equity, if you were to go to the bank right now and that money's carrying over, if you were to go to the bank right now and take a loan on that $5,000 that you're carrying over to this new car, it'd be $100 a month plus just in a payment alone, right? So I am giving you the $300 payment, but we do have to pay for the negative equity that carries over. So doesn't it make complete sense to trade and it's super affordable? Yes. Great. Sign right here, and then they're done. You can break payments or things that you see into money, but you've got to write it down. If you're making any points and you're not writing them down, guys, it's not going to work, okay? Closers write everything. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.